All right, good morning, guys. So I wanted to carry on with doing the area of 2D shapes, but I put in brackets here, odd shapes. So before we move on, just to do a quick recap, you can see over here, we've got a normal rectangle, and we've got 2 meters by 3 meters, and we know the formula is length times breadth, so it's 2 times 3, and that gives us, of course, 6 meters squared. Right, then when we moved on to triangles, we can see over there we said it's half base times perpendicular height. So if it's got a right angle, so you can see over there it's got a 90-degree angle, it's quite straightforward to work it out. You just got to plug it into the formula. There it's half times 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, and half of 9, of course, is 4.5 square meters. Right, then we moved on to a triangle that doesn't have a right angle. And I told you that in the test or exam, normally the examiner will give you an extension, and they will show you what is the actual vertical height or the perpendicular height. So over there, we still use the same formula. It's half base times perpendicular height. We just need to make sure that when we're using the perpendicular height, that we're not using like a long side or something like that. We must use a length or side that is perpendicular to the base. All right, so half base times perpendicular height. So we plugged in the 6 and the 2. 6 times 2 is 12, and half of 12, of course, is 6 square meters over there. Okay, now this is where I wanted to go today. This is exciting. So now I said, what happens if you get an odd shape? I mean, like, this isn't even a rectangle, it's not a triangle, it's just a mashup of different shapes. And that is exactly the point over there. Because it's a mashup of shapes, we can actually split it up into 2 different shapes and then add those 2 shape areas together. For instance, if I had to draw an imaginary line over there, making that a square or a perpendicular height, I now know this whole length is 10 meters. If this side over here is 8 meters, I know that this leftover point over here is 2 meters. So now already I have got a base of this triangle piece here. Now what about my perpendicular height? Well, I know this is the same height as that side, so it's 4 meters. Now I know how to calculate the area of this triangle, and I know how to calculate the area of this rectangle because I've got this length and this breadth. Nice and straightforward. So you work out those 2 shapes first, and then you add them together. So your actual formula would be, let's start off with the triangle. So it's half base times perpendicular height plus, and in the normal rectangle is length times breadth. So that would be your full formula over there, adding up together. So to do the triangle first, half base, so it's half times, we said 2, and then times by the perpendicular height, which we said was 4, plus our length and breadth. Now this is where some people get very, very confused. You can see at the top of that shape, it's 10 meters. But remember, that 10 meters means this whole length, but we only want to do this shape. So we must use this 8 over here. And of course the height is simply 4. Okay, let's work out these answers. So over here for the triangle, we've got 2 times 4 is 8, and half of 8 is 4. Okay, then over here we've got 8 times 4, which is 32. So 4 plus 32 is 36 meters squared. How simple is that? All right, all the best.